The Lord is still apostles and elders God must on the overall citation to the hopeful elect and scattered in the four corners of the earth. And all praises, glory, and honor be due to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Yeah, man, without further ado, I want to go into a short lesson, and that is the pride of Babylon, man. All right, and it's going to be a short one. The pride of Babylon, how she's so puffed up, all right, because the Lord had given Babylon, aka America, aka Rome rebirth, all right, to sit in that power seat and to rule the earth, which in basically the elites, basically, and the ones, the elites of Edom, are the ones basically, are the ones that set out the task, and all these nations, all right, they do follow after, all right, but America, aka the war that it speaks about in the scriptures, even in Revelation 18 about her destruction, all right, she'll be burned with fire and with the laser beams that come out of the chariots, and she will become what a desolation, all right. And when America basically had launched the nuclear missiles, all right, and I think it's in Hiroshima, she had bombed, all right. The world had seen her use her power, all right, as sword, and many fear came upon many nations, and for a long time she has not been into many wars, but her pride is, puffed up, in a sense, all right, because the Lord is seeing that America, aka America, the wickedness and the abomination that is coming out of her, and she shall be judged. All right. Now just playing a little bit of what the Senates and the Republicans and the Democrats and all of them have in mind. It doesn't matter which one goes into that period of time to basically rule. They all have the same mindset.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O. If necessary, our troops can translate that for you. Another way to put it is peace through strength, brought to you by the warrior ethos. And we are restoring both. As President Trump has said, and he's right, we have the strongest, most powerful, most lethal, and most prepared military on the planet. That is true, full stop. Nobody can touch us.
All right, so nobody can touch them. All right, guess what? Yahweh Shem Yahushai is the one who is going to put the end, all right, to that proud nation. All right, let me get a couple of precepts. All right, and it just goes to show everything that is written within the scriptures is being manifested on the earth, All right, this is Psalms 10 and in verse 4. It says, "The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh. Yahweh is not at all in his thoughts." Verse 5, right? Because he was created, Esau, Edom was created to be the wicked. All right, so he has no desire for righteousness. All right, because he was created to be the wicked. All right, it's like a balance, just like how Israel or Yasharala represents righteousness. They're the opposite of it. The Edomites are the opposite. They're the wicked. All right, they were created for that purpose. All right, verse 5. of Psalms 10, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. The key point, verse 6, he had said in his heart, in his mind, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's basically his desire and his mindset, that he will not be taken out of the way. Right? Give me a minute. All right, this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1. All right, and I'll begin at verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cliff of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that said in thy heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right, and what you witnessed there in the video is the mindset of the Edomites. All right, because one of the blessings that they receive is the blessing of the sword. All right, it is a blessing of the sword. All right, and they're ruled with the sword. All right, and they understand basically that they have that blessing and they prosper in it. But guess what? The Lord is about to take Edom out of his way. All right, Babylon, aka Babylon, the terminal nuclear fire and with the laser beams, all right, but that is after the fact, of the MOTB becoming mandatory. All right, so, and in the land where of Israel, where Amalek dwells, acting as though he is, all right, the true Israelites, which they are the wicked, all right, pretending to be us. All right, guess what? That land is going to be purged also with fire, and it's going to be rebuilt. Well, the kingdom is going to be rebuilt, but that and it's going to be purged with fire. But for as AKA America, that is going to be what? An example of the Lord's judgment. All right, it will be desolate, and will never be inhabited. All right, it says, that said in thy heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's what you saw he did, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, hence will I bring thee down, says Yahweh. All right, and the Lord is going to what? Begin to strip them of their power. All right, strip them of their power. Take away the wisdom that they thrive on of rulership. All right. When you go down more into this verse, right? It says, verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound on thee. There is none understanding in him. Right? And the Lord is basically what? Having these nations who had been quieted for some time under their rulership to begin what? To gather themselves together. All right? And in the scripture tell you what they have prepared. And the Lord is the one that mustered the battle against Babylon, aka America. And all these nations should gather themselves together and what? Aim their nuclear missiles towards Babylon to destroy that land. Alright? Going on more. Verse 8, shall I not in that day, says Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mouth of Esau. Alright, then we're seeing that. We're seeing that America, the generals and those that are basically were set up to be wise men within their rulership concerning matters of military might and so forth, have been taken out of the way and replaced. Their armies have become weak. All right, is going on more. It says, what's this? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mouth of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. All right, and that's the Lord's promise to a proud nation. All right, and let me get some more. Right, let me see. Right, okay. It says Nehemiah 3. It says 1. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is all full of lies and robberies. The prey departed not. The noise of whips and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the panning horses and of the jumping chariots. All right, and this basically is the best that Nehemiah could have explained at that time, but it's talking about what the the how do I put it the missiles and the vehicles that they're set up in, which basically move them around. All right, and jumping chariots goes back to the missiles, basically. Verse 3, it says, 3, it says, the horseman lifted up the bow, both the bright sword and the glittering spear, right? Which goes back to the missiles again. And there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpse, right? And that's also, America is gonna, all these nations gonna be gathered into the valley of Yahweh Shabbat. Even the slain shall be many too, right? Verse 4, because of the multitude of thy whoredom, and of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredom, and families through her witchcraft, right? And we see that America and basically her setup is basically about what witchcraft and demon worships and many other unclean and abominable things that come out of her. All right, and she pushes it upon the earth, like that. For example, the alphabet boys, girls, adultery, everything that you could think about. All right, look at the entertainment, the hold that it has on the world, where everybody look at these celebrities, like for example, Kanye West, all these, for example, Puff Daddy too, all these so-called icons or celebrities that are set up to be worshipped, and the filth that come out of them on a daily basis. All right, a lot of these so-called witches that are set up on hotlines that you can call for them to give you what somewhat of vain babbling and wicked abominations for you to fulfill or to seek out. All right, wickedness has been held in the high esteem out of Babylon. All right, verse 5, behold, I am against thee, says Yahweh of hosts. I will discover thy skirt upon thy face. I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. Verse 6, key point. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. Right? So, in other words, how is he going to become a gazing stock? By the destruction of Babylon, which aka the nuclear missiles, all right, and the laser beam that coming out of the chariot, all right. Isaiah 6:6. All right, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai all right, is going to take down, all right, Esau, Edom, all right. Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Alright, so at the Lord's coming, alright, when he gathers the elect 144,000 men, 1/3 men, women, and children from the four corners of the earth, alright, he's gonna release those missiles going off, and those laser beams that come out of the chariot will basically destroy those places. Alright, aka America is gonna be a desolation. Alright, it says verse 8, therefore, Revelation 18:8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is Yahweh power, Bashem Yahweh Shai, who judgeth her. Verse 9, and the kings of the earth, alright, making her a gazing stock here. It says the kings of the earth who had committed fornication and lived up deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And that's how quick the Lord is going to take down that place. Alright, because as we go back into the video, you see he said it. I shall play it back. Salakia. Right.
Should our enemies choose foolishly to challenge us, they will be crushed by the violence, precision, and ferocity of the War Department. In other words, to our enemies, F-A-F-O.
Alright, and that's the pride of this man. Alright, that's his pride. Alright, and that's why the Lord is going to take them out. Alright, because it has been, alright, set up that way. Alright, that the Lord is the one who is going to take them out. Alright, let me get another precept. Right. Ecclesiastes or Sirach 10, verse 7. Pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity. Verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Right? Because when the Lord takes down this Esau Edom's kingdom, all right, when you read it in the book of 2nd Esdras, tells you that what Jacob is the next to follow. So we're going to have the everlasting kingdom of righteousness, because we're next in power to be set up. Verse 9. Why is earth and ashes proud? Why are they proud? There is no more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one sitteth his own soul to seal, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. Right, God, and that went back into the time of the blessings. All right, Esau thought not of his, his descendants or his future, but rather he seeked after the carnal things of life. All right, because he was created to be that way. But Jacob, all right, if he could receive it, who was once Abel, because of his humbleness and because of his righteousness. When he came back in the regeneration as Jacob, he was given that blessing. All right, but the Lord had chosen to put it in that way that he should receive it. All right, right. So hope that lesson is was edifying and about to this wicked kingdom. Shalom, Brakatah.